Well, thank you so much for being with us as we journey on Tuesday's edition of Morning at NTV. The 23rd of January definitely is getting more interesting for us here on the morning show. And in our Tech Note, we're going to be focusing on doing social business in Africa. Now, of course, doing business in Africa, for those who are not here, is referred to as a cut of 1,000 words. But our next guest is one that has been here for almost 40 years, has taken the notch a little bit higher, and is doing what is called social business. I know it sounds queer, but Rino Solberg, the founder of Better Globe Group, is here to enlighten more about social business. What does that look like, and exactly how he has been able to thrive on that here in Uganda. Good morning to you, Rino.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here, and I'm very happy to be able to tell you a little bit about what we do here.
Okay.
And yes.
So let's talk about social entrepreneurship. What does it mean?
Well, it means that actually we are doing it for good purposes. It's not for the money in the end, it's for the good purpose. So the more money we make, the more we can do good. So that is the issue of the whole thing.
So that means you must have a money source. When you do the kind of business that you do, what is your funding? Where do you get your funding from?
Well, we have different kind of fundings. We have investors who invest into the company to start with, but then we have crowdfunding and other ways of doing it. But we have different issues that we do, and the whole thing is that the vision of the whole Better Globe Group is to eradicate poverty in Africa. And that means we have to find a way to help people who are poor to make more money on a sustainable basis. That's what we do. And what we did, when I started here together with my wife in 1991, we started Child Africa here, and my wife is still running as the managing director Child Africa. We have 3 schools, 2 in Kabbalah, 1 at the equator, and about 1,500 kids that we are training there, and we instill in them honesty and integrity in order to fight corruption long time. So that is what she is doing, and I'm planting trees here now. We have Better Globe Forestry in Kenya, Uganda. We have planted in Uganda more than 2 million trees, and we are aiming at 2 billion trees in the years to come. So that is the basis of the whole thing, actually.
Okay, and away from poverty, what else informed the idea of you choosing to do this social business in Africa in particular?
Well, I've been an entrepreneur for 50 years. I've done businesses in more than 20 countries over 50 years. And when I was 60 years old, some years back, I sat down with my wife and we discussed how to really help the African continent to eradicate poverty. And then we understood that in order to eradicate poverty, we had to help the people who are poor. And most of the people in Africa who are poor farmers. So we started to plant high quality mahogany trees with them. We are working with, in Uganda, more than 15,000 farmers in Dokolo area, and in Kenya the same. We have a huge vast land there that we're planting trees. So that's what we did. But I've also been in the training business for many years, and in Uganda here I have I don't know if you've heard about ISO 9000 certification, but I was the one who brought that to Uganda in 1994, because the president came to Norway in 1994 asking people to come and invest and help the country. So I said, let me do it. So we have trained more than 100 of the biggest companies in Uganda to be ISO 9000 certified, and the people that I trained personally are the one who's doing it today. So any company that is ISO certified today is because I took it to Uganda and started to train companies here. So that is for the company social entrepreneurship. But now we are also launching an app called Be Better app, which is training people to become successful and be motivated and have fun in life.
Okay, before we get into the app, Better Globe Group, what does it do? Which sectors does it focus on now?
It is focusing on mostly planting trees. We are aiming at becoming one of the biggest tree planting companies in the world, and we are planting trees in East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, and we are aiming at Tanzania in a couple of years also. And we work with farmers, so we are aiming at millions of farmers in the years to come to plant trees for them, and then we share the profit with them. So that is our social entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship to eradicate poverty in Africa.
Okay. What challenges have you encountered while embarking on this business? Because anything social, especially given the fact that you're a Muzungu, people are always having that skepticism of, yeah, it's coming to do what and why us?
Yeah, that is a very good question. I can tell you, I took my Norwegian way of doing things with me here, which of course was completely ridiculous because it didn't work. And I had to adapt to all the systems, and if I had all the money back, which I have been tricked into using my money for, I've been a rich guy today, that is not an issue, but we have to adapt to the system in Africa. We have to work with them, and it's wrong for us to come with Norwegian ideas and how to do business here. If we cannot adapt to the African way of doing things, it's useless. So we work with the people. We are talking to them. We employ a lot of people. We have about almost 400 people, in and out our company planting trees, and we work with 15,000 farmers, eradicating their poverty slowly, one family at a time.
Okay, so in planting trees, you are wearing a wristwatch that is made out of trees that have been planted.
Yeah, it is actually made out of mahogany trees. The mahogany trees that we are planting ourselves, this is made from Kenya. So that's a Kenyan watch, and our own trees, so it's a Better Glow watch. And this is just one piece that we are aiming at putting up factories. We're not just planting trees. We want to see that people are employed in the years to come, and the money comes. We're selling as an export product, maybe furniture, maybe floor tiles, maybe watches and other products, but we will take the money back to Africa. We are not going to take the money out like many people are doing. We are working here to eradicate poverty. Whatever money we make, we will sell the product outside, export, and then take it back. So we'll put up factories here in the years to come. Probably the first one will be in 2030. Then we have trees enough to start to...
Well, there's so many plans for 2030. Every project and mission from national to government is all focusing on 2030. But let's focus on 2024. You talked about the Be Better app. Tell us more details.
Well, that is an app, for 30 years I've been a motivational speaker. I've been a trainer of businesses and people and motivating people. So that's been part of my life, and I feel very strong that if anybody can learn something to be better, I think that's a great benefit. So we have that app made for the world market. It's in English and Scandinavian language, and the most important thing there is that in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, where we work and eradicating poverty, it is free. Everywhere else it costs some money as a subscription, but in Uganda it's free. Anybody can download it. Be Better app. We have in Apple Store and Google Play, so they can download it free. And there is anything you want to learn to become successful, to be motivated, be personal, educated, it is in that app. And we have thousands, people like these, what do you call them, wisdom quotes. They pick them from everywhere. We have collected probably more than 50,000, and in all kind of areas, and we put them into a system where you can easily pick them from. If you want something about family, you click on family. If you want something about success, you click on success. All these things are there, and the whole thing is, like I said, free. And this, whatever is there today, is only the fraction of what's going to be coming in the years to come. It's going to expand into everything. Let's say this way, that yes, you go to school, you learn to read and write and some more stuff, but you don't know how to become successful after taking a school. You need special education in how to motivate yourself, how to get self-confidence, self-discipline, all the good stuff that you need to be successful. And not only that, but there are many small issues that makes a big difference. And that is what you want to teach the people in the Be Better app.
Okay, all right. So at the end of the day, what are you hoping that this is going to, how is it going to help, especially social entrepreneurs or people who have the potential to make a better living of their livelihoods?
Well, I have to say that, maybe 95% of the people, that's what they say, is not successful in life. They feel miserable, whatever it is. And we want more of the 95% to learn more, quicker and easy way. They don't have to go through all the failures that everybody else has done. They can learn from others' mistakes. That's cheaper than learning from your own. I've done all the mistakes that you can ever think of in my life, and I have paid for it. That's what I call, me and my wife, we call it school fees. So this is very important to understand, that you can learn from other people. And we have put there, you have plenty of hundreds of videos there from the most successful gurus in every walks of life. So you can click, 3 seconds and you have them, and you can listen to them, and you can read. And we are also using audio, because many people don't want to read. And like they say, if you want to hide something from Uganda, you put it into a book, because they don't read.
Yes.
That's why we have in the app, we have started with audio. And so that means you can listen while you are driving a car, you can connect it to the car, or you can listen when you go walking at home, working, whatever you do. And that is a very good way of learning. I've done that myself in the old days with cassette tapes in my car, in and out. All the time I was driving a car with a cassette tape that told me something, teach me something, and I was very excited about it. And I hope that we can make millions of people in Uganda excited about that app, so they can pick something. If they pick one thing and become that much better, a little bit better every day, I will be the most happy man on this earth.
Okay. With your 40 years experience, do share with us 4 mistakes that you've had or done or made, and then what are the 4 lessons you've also learned?
Well, I have to say that there are so many, so it's hard to pick, but I can tell you one thing, and that is I borrowed money in the bank, and we had a huge house, we had the biggest house in town, and we put it as a collateral, and the business went down. And in fact, it's a funny story, because it was a Success magazine I was publishing, and it was a very costly 100 pages full color. So I was publishing that in Norway. And if I'd called the magazine failure, I would probably be a successful man today. But we called it Success, and people are very scared. Success, is that something devious? So I lost money, and we lost our house. So at that time we had no debt on anything, and I put it up for collateral for the bank, and I lost it. So after that day I have never borrowed 1 single cent ever, and I will never ever borrow any money to run the operation, to run the business. That is one thing I learned. So just to stick to one, that is the most hardship. And of course you have to trust people, but in Africa also, when you trust too many, you lose too many. So that is the issue. But I've learned a lot about these things, and there are millions of things, small things that I have done mistakes, and of course yes, because I believe it's going to be good. Not everybody necessarily think the same way. So there's a fight going on all the time to convince people about what you are doing and how much good you are doing. Okay. That's the way it is.
Rino, you have been here for close to 40 years, and you have seen opportunity after opportunity. You've tapped into more opportunities along the way. And there are Africans who are into entrepreneurship and so enthusiastic about being entrepreneurs, but they seem to be missing elements of opportunities over the course of their entrepreneurship journey. What would be your take on that, and how do you think they should improve on their journey?
Well, entrepreneurship spans over very various areas. You have anything from farming as an entrepreneur to IT and artificial intelligence, which is today the big thing. So there's everything in between. I have to say that I believe that Ugandans are very entrepreneurial. They are very creative on anything they want to do. They are so creative, and they are good at doing things. The only thing that is lacking here, and I have to say that I've always been thinking about when I start a business, there are 2 things, and that is the supply and the demand. If the supply is huge and demand low, forget that business. You're going to fight for the rest of your life. Look into something where the demand is high and the supply is low. And I can tell you, if I were starting a business here today, I would have one issue, one qualification that I will really push, and that is honesty and integrity. Because you see, today, even in a small shop, if you feel that you get value for money, they're not cheating you and they're giving you good service, you will go back to that shop. Simple as that. And that goes for everything. I don't know how many times I've been cheated here in Uganda. I have no counts for that. And the people, unfortunately, are dishonest, you know, and if they're dishonest by choice, it is very bad. And I will say that in today's world, in Uganda here, you are popping out millions of people from the universities, and where do they go? Into the unemployment queue, and everybody says, please give me work, I'll do anything. That queue is very huge. If I was going to get a job in Uganda today, I would tell the people that I was going to work for, that listen, I am honest. I am totally honest. I'm going to prove it to you. And